Hi friends, I'm Carla Turner. Today I'll take you through a 30-minute full body reformer Pilates flow. It's an express class. We're trying to pack a lot of things in a short amount of time, so we won't waste any time. Let's come to a medium and a light spring, and it's a good idea to put your head rest down now, even though we're starting with abs. So scooching your body all the way to the edge of the carriage. Arms can come straight out front. Take a big deep breath in. Slowly lowering down, melting into the carriage as you exhale. Once you're down, we can reach back for our short loops. Arms can come to the ceiling. Feet can come on to that foot bar for now. So we're pressing the carriage away so our wrists are above our shoulders. We're not going to start with our straps way up by our ears here or our top of our head. Legs can come to tabletop. Low back tucks into the carriage, that pelvic tuck. Take a big deep breath in. As you exhale, lower your arms down to your sides. Maybe you add a chest lift right out of the gate because, again, we're tight on time. Curling up. Typically exhaling on the effort in Pilates, inhaling to prepare. We add on single toe tap. Arms come down. One foot comes down to tap by the springs. We switch the other foot, both legs to tabletop, head down, arms up. Holding that chest lift every time our feet are tapping here. Option to add on. When we come up, instead of toe taps, single leg stretch. As soon as we lengthen that leg, that long lever, it'll be more challenging than our toe taps. Low back stays pressed into the carriage. That's how we know if maybe we should go back to those toe taps if we end up arching the back. Last one, let's stay up. Single leg stretch only, curling up nice and high. 3, 2, and then last one. We can come all the way down. Okay, heels can find the foot bar. We're hip distance apart. I'm keeping my hands into my straps here, aiming to keep the carriage as still as possible. With a flat back, take a big deep breath in. Let's exhale, lift your bum up, send your hips up, lowering back down. So if you're finding it tricky or maybe too hard on the hamstrings, too challenging, by all means, for this part, add that spring back on, another spring, a medium, a light, kind of play with it. Hips lift, hips lower. And then next time you're up, we'll stay up, coming halfway down, all the way up. Halfway, all the way. Checking out what our feet are doing, making sure they stay parallel. I know mine want to externally rotate out to the side. Last one, coming up and staying up, pulsing your hips. Down an inch, up an inch, slow and controlled. 3, 2, last one, come all the way down. Legs come right to tabletop. Low back presses to the carriage. Take a big deep breath in. As you exhale, arms come down by your sides. Let's stay up. Tricep press. Arms are bending, arms are straightening. Single leg stretch. Arms go long, one leg goes long. We're alternating. You could pop your head down as a modification here every time your arms bend. Double leg stretch. Both arms go long, both legs go long. Heels can come together, toes apart. Really thinking about those inner thighs squeezing together, waking them up if they've kind of gotten forgotten about these first few minutes. Last one, arms and legs go long. Flip your palms to face your thighs. Arms open, arms close. I'm choosing to hold my chest lift. You could keep the head down. Add in the legs. Arms and legs open. Arms and legs close. 3, starfish. 2, last one. And then we come all the way down. Heels can come onto the foot bar. Heels together, toes apart. Arms come up to the ceiling. Pressing away so my wrists are right above my shoulders. Coming into an articulated bridge. So the first thing we do is tuck that pelvis. Low back presses into the carriage. Peeling ourselves up one vertebra at a time. Lowering back down again. So sometimes we start to creep away from the stopper and don't even notice. But in this case, the strap is giving me feedback. If I start to creep away, my straps are going to be lighter in my hands. Last one, peeling up and coming up. Knees open, knees close. And then one at a time. Left knee opens and closes, aiming to keep my hips, my pelvis stable. Other leg, right leg only. So I'm really relying on that left side to press into the foot bar, not letting my right hip drop. Last two. Last one, and then we'll come all the way down. Good. Okay, we can bring our arms still up to the ceiling here, legs to tabletop. Heels can come together, toes apart. We are going to take turns alternating framing one thigh at a time. Big deep breath in. As we exhale, I'm framing my left leg. Right hand comes between my legs, left hand to my left hip, head down. Other side. Adding that chest lift right out of the gate. Maybe we add on with a kick. When your arms come on either side of the leg, legs kick out to the side, back with flexed feet, head down. Alternate. We come up, pointing the toes. Open, close, heels together. Good. Last one, each side, coming up. Last one. And then coming all the way down. Okay, let's come onto our toes. Pilates V, heels are together, toes apart. Arms come up to the ceiling. Heels stay glued. Peel yourself up one vertebra at a time, lowering back down again. Heels stay nice and lifted. Are even your baby toes onto that foot bar? Good. So we're warming up the lower half here, but also the core. Last one. Coming all the way up, holding here, coming a little closer into that stopper. 3, 2, and then stay up. Heels lift, heels lower for 2. And then last one, we'll come all the way down. Good. Okay, straps can go off to the side. So we'll flush things out a little bit with some footwork. It's very light, so we'll mainly come to single leg. We'll start bilaterally though. So arches of our feet come onto that foot bar, trying to wrap your feet around the foot bar. Take a big deep breath in. As you exhale, press the carriage out, long legs, bending to come back in again. So at this stage of the game, you could bring your headrest back up again, now that that bridging is behind us. All right, let's, next time we come in, bring our right leg to tabletop. Keep pressing out and in with the left leg. Full range of motion with the left. Adding an extension. You come in, right leg goes long over the foot bar. Tabletop, over the foot bar. You could add an extra spring at this stage, but for efficiency, we're sticking with what we've got. Next time you go out, stay out. Think like a bicycle. Leg kicks to the ceiling, keep the carriage still, lowers, tabletop, kick the leg up. We can add in that motion with the carriage the next time we kick the leg to the ceiling. As the carriage comes in, our leg lowers down. We press out, tabletop. Last one, next time our leg goes over that foot bar, we'll switch directions. Kicking up to the ceiling as we go out, tabletop, shooting the leg over the foot bar as we come back in again. Last one, come all the way in. Both of our arches now onto that foot bar, close together. Left leg comes into tabletop, pressing out and in. Relaxing into the shoulders. Add the extension of the left leg over that foot bar. We can come to our bicycle. So the next time you go out, stay out, carriage is still, leg to the ceiling, lowering down, cycling around. Adding that motion with the carriage, leg lowers down, carriage in. And you could keep the carriage still the whole time. Switch directions. Next time we go out, leg up, tabletop, shooting over top. Watching that our right knee is not falling out to the right. or the left for that matter. Last one, we'll come all the way back in. Lastly, let's go wide onto our toes. Heels are lifted. Keep those heels lifted like you have Barbie feet, extending the legs long. I'm going to slow it right down. Pretend like you have double the amount of springs on that you do right now. Resisting to come in. Last one. We'll press out and stay out, alternating here, coming into our prancing or our running. And then last one. We can bend our legs, come all the way back in. Very nice. Okay, so I do have a long box today. You could choose to forego the long box. I'm going to take off a light spring because I have a bit of a different system than most of you probably do. So if you have your medium and light, just take off your light spring, same as me. We can grab our box, putting that long box onto the carriage. Actually gonna switch, putting my light one on, take that extra medium off. Okay, yours is still all good in the hood though. So we'll come onto all fours onto that box. Any kind of wrist issues, you could come down onto your forearms. And we're going to bring the right long loop onto the arch of the right foot. So there's no really lovely way to do this, graceful way to do this. So sometimes people like to stay centered on the box. I kind of like shifting closer over to the right side of the box. So we're pressing our hands or forearms into that box, checking that our hips are right above our knees. And we'll start with a kick. That leg kicks out long to the foot bar, bends and comes back in. Kicking long. So if right out of the gate you're like, whew, that is heavy, come down to that light spring. Play with that spring tension. So the goal here, imagine you've got teacups lined up on your back. We don't want to be shifting into the core. Last two. And then keep that leg long, lowering and lifting. Kind of little pulses here. You could even do it to the right side of your box here, if that box is getting in the way. Last two, and then last one, we'll come all the way in down onto that knee. This time we'll come into a sweep. So again, could come a little closer to the right side. Just don't go all the way to the right side that you end up finding yourself onto the floor. I'm a little closer to the floor than a lot of the reformers out there. You've got further to go potentially. Leg goes long. Still keeping our hips pointed down toward the box and not, in this case, my right hip toward you. Lowering down, sweeping towards the floor, and then back up again. All about our glute strength, our hip strength, thanks to our pelvic stability. I saw something the other day that said, any exercise, if you do it wrong enough, becomes a back exercise. So we don't want that. This is not a back exercise. Next time that leg is up, keep it up. Slow pulses. 3, 2, and then you can bend, come all the way in. So we'll keep that strap on the right foot. Let's come on to our left forearm. Right hand can stay on that corner of the box here. Still checking that my hips are above my knees. So this time we're watching that right leg. So my right leg is kicking out to the far right corner of my foot bar, coming into this bend and stretch here with that purposeful external rotation of our hip here, our leg. You can see why we wouldn't want to go too heavy for this one. Last two. And then we got to finish with that pulse. Down an inch, up an inch. Good. 3, 2, and then come all the way in. Good, a little high five if you need it. We can take that strap off. Since we're here, we'll go right to the other leg. So getting ourselves reorganized here. Left long loop comes on the arch of that left foot. Okay, I'm scooching myself back. Hips are right above my knees. I'm going to go a little bit over to my left, still making sure I'm somewhere near the middle, so I'm not going overboard. That left leg can go nice and long as we press away from that box, coming into that bend and stretch here. Thighs will come to parallel. You could even come onto your fist if that feels better for your wrist. So I like to imagine there's like water guns on either side of our hip here, pointed down toward the box. And we want to keep those water guns pointed toward the box, not out to the left, not out to the right. Last 2, keep that leg long, slow little pulses, up an inch, down an inch, maybe even to the left side of your box. 3, 2, and then last one, you can bend, come all the way in. Might need that little love tap a little sooner because this side was stabilizing us on side 1. Okay, coming into that sweep, leg goes long, lowering to the side of our carriage and then back up again. So you might even notice one side is perfectly happy to go lower and further in terms of range of motion than the other. My left leg is happy to do that, not so much my right. Good. We work on those imbalances here by working unilaterally. Last 2, keep the leg up, down an inch, up an inch. 3, 2, and then come all the way back in. Okay, coming down onto our right forearm. My left hand is coming on to that corner of the box. Leg extends long. We're bending and straightening. You can even be looking at that left leg, kicking out and in. Last 2. Last 1, keep it long. We got a pulse, up an inch, down an inch, pressing your body, your chest away from the box. 2. Last 1, bend, come all the way in. Not mad that that's behind us. We'll bring that strap down onto the floor or onto your peg, and then I'm coming to lie down on my box. So you might choose to hop off before you get back on again. Legs can go nice and long, and we'll bring more or less the heaviest part of our chest off the box. Certainly adjust if you need to. And then we can tuck the pelvis here. So we're wanting to lift up the belly button and hip bones, taking a bit of an arch out of the back so that you're not doing this, dumping into your low back here. Let's grab onto our short loops. Arms come out to the sides. Legs are nice and long, coming into some snow angels. Arms press to our hips. And I'm activating my quads so they're off the back of the box here. Optional add-on. Arms come to your side, legs squeeze together, arms open, legs open. Strengthening our back body, our posterior chain, teaching our glutes, hamstrings, legs, back, all to work together, as our body was designed to do. Last one, arms to your sides, legs long, little flutter kick from the hips. Last 2. And then last one, come all the way in. Okay, this time we can grab onto a little bit higher up the straps, coming onto that silver hardware or the strap. So we'll come into a tricep kickback. Arms start bent by our sides. That tuck of the pelvis, take the arch out of the back. Arms kick long. Arms bent. Bending and straightening the arms here. Neck is long with the rest of the spine. Last 2. Keep the arms nice and long here. Lowering down, pulling straps, straight arms come back up again. Down toward the floor, straight back up again. Last 2. Last one, keep the arms up nice and high, flutter kick. 3, 2, and then come all the way down. Whew, quick and dirty little posterior chain work. We can come onto all fours. Child's pose, on or off the box is okay by me, butt toward heels. And we can come onto all fours, or you can stay in child's pose for cat-cow. Good, okay, hopping off, we can remove that box off to the side. We're done with him. We'll stick with the same spring, so that medium spring, and then we'll come onto all fours for some planking. So our feet can come up against that platform just below the foot bar. A little extra challenge, you could put your feet up to that foot bar. That's more of an advanced exercise. Hands are on the carriage or forearms. Press the carriage or your body away from the carriage, hovering your knees off. Press the carriage out, bend and come back in. Let's add a march. Every time we go out, we bring one knee in with us, bending to come back in. I like to think you've got 2 kids, each kid wants a ride on the reformer carriage. You know you'll never hear the end of it if you don't give each one a turn. Speaking from personal experience, just in life, not necessarily the reformer. Last 2. And then last one, once you've evened things out, come all the way back in. Good, okay. Hands can move a little bit closer toward our feet. We'll come from a plank to a pike. Press your hands into the carriage. Hover your knees off. We press the carriage out. I'm using my low abs, sending my hips up to the ceiling, ears between biceps, pressing back out again. So if you can get your hands on a mirror and watch yourself, even just a couple of reps. Sometimes when we come into this plank, our hips drop quite significantly. That is hard on our back. Joking about every exercise being a back exercise, oh yeah. That's when you'd wonder why the next day you were feeling it. Last 2. And then last one, we'll come out in our plank, hinging from the shoulders, out an inch, in an inch. 3, 2, last one, you can bend, come all the way back in. Very good. Okay, this one, we are going to come into some alternating leg extensions. So hovering the knees, pressing into that reformer. Right knee, I'm coming out in my plank holding. Right knee comes into my chest, I go below the foot bar. Right knee to your chest, go above the foot bar. Trick is we're not allowed to look at the foot bar. In toward you and above. In the classes I teach, I always joke that for every time you hit the foot bar, you owe me $2. So all of a sudden that bang of hitting the foot bar comes to an end really quickly. No one's paid me yet though. Last one. Over top of that foot bar, come all the way in. Good. Okay, last but not least, we gotta make things even with our left leg. Pressing away, you know the drill. Hover the knees. Press the carriage out. Above the foot bar, below the foot bar. My body doesn't move. Check your shoulders are above your wrists. Last 2. Last one. Come all the way down. Really good, guys. Okay, before we get to some feet in straps, let's come to mermaid. So we can bring our left shin up against the shoulder blocks. Right shin is parallel with the long edge of the carriage here. Your hand can come on that foot bar just in front of your shoulder. You might need to come to a lighter spring. You could stick with your medium, play it by ear. Press the carriage away. Free arm reaches up and over and then taps the headrest. Slowing that heart rate a little. And then we're adding in some rotations. The next time we press away, my left arm is reaching underneath the right, and then coming just partway in like I'm hailing a cab looking behind me. Pressing away, reaching the arm under. Spinal rotation. So I don't typically come in all the way with this one because usually that right arm gets bent and we could harm the shoulder here, trying to reach over the left arm. Next time you're down, both hands can come onto that foot bar, stretching the arms out nice and long. Keeping my left glute down. Imagine my hand is on your left hip, pressing your glute down. And we can come through a variation of swan. Arms stay relatively straight here. And then last one, we'll come all the way up. All right, with any luck, this will work. It works about half the time. Hands can come behind you. Knees come up to the ceiling. If we pivot, we should find ourselves with our right shin up against the shoulder blocks, left foot touching our right knee. Check that your right glute stays down. Left hand on that foot bar, up and over. We always ensure we move our spine in all directions in Pilates. We've done just that here. We've got our lateral flexion. Let's add our rotation, reaching that arm underneath our left, hailing our imaginary cab behind us. Last one. Then after you've hailed your cab, both of your hands can come onto your foot bar. Arms are nice and straight. Right glute stays down, pressing out and in. That's spinal rotation. We got our spinal flexion when we did our core work, and our extension when we were lying on our stomachs on the box for tummy time. Last one. And then we can come all the way in. Okay, well, we can't leave each other without doing a little feet and straps. So you can come to 2 medium springs. Scooching to the edge of that carriage, let's slowly roll down onto our backs. Headrest can be up or down. I'm gonna bring mine back up. And then we can bring our long loops onto the arches of our feet, pressing away on that foot bar to pop these guys on the middle of the feet. Okay, let's move our hips in all directions for good measure, lowering and lifting those straight legs. Legs move in all directions, like flossing for our hips here. And we can come to internal rotation, lowering and lifting. And then parallel feet, lowering and lifting. Next time your legs are at about a 45-degree angle, keep them parallel here. Parallel feet, open and close out to the side. So we're still coaxing a stretch, even at this point where our bodies are warm. We're not wanting to force it. External rotation, toes point out to the sides, opening and closing. And then internal rotation, toes point in toward each other, open and close. Not my favorite, but sometimes we got to do things we don't want to do. Good. Got to even things out. And then coming all the way in. All right, frog. Heels together, toes apart. Extend and bend the legs. Good. Tabletop to 45. Legs squish together. And then next time you're out, we'll transition to Peter Pan. I like to think of it as a bow and arrow. Right leg bends, left leg goes long. Legs extend long together. If you ever find your rope is going slack, it's because we need to keep both straps moving at the same time. Your heel of your bent leg should be in line with your belly button. So much to think about in Pilates. That's why it's a practice. We're not going to nail it all today or even tomorrow, but we got to keep coming back. All right, both legs can bend. This is another variation of Peter Pan where we'll get a stretch in. So one leg can kick long. We're giving a stretch here, a pull onto the rope into that inner thigh, maybe feeling it in your hamstring. And then we'll switch. And then lastly, both legs could bend, butterfly. You could lower your feet down toward the springs. I like to go part way to avoid the arch out of my back. Arms can come out, palms up. Take a few deep breaths. You can bring your knees in toward you. Quick hammy stretch. Right leg can go to the sky. We can give a pull on that rope. And then switching, left leg giving a pull. And then both knees can come in toward you. We'll take those straps off and then we'll come up to seated. Thank you so much for joining me today. That was our 30-minute full body Pilates Reformer Express class. See you next time.